Clips. And remember, citizens, the only way to survive and thrive is to subscribe and hit the bell. All will be well. 1995. Plus shipping and handling will keep you out of hell. Alrighty, boob tubes. Another one of Kip's clips. See through the fear porn Friday. Now it's a cryptic, very cryptically named show. And I wonder if there's anybody out there that can solve Rubik's Cubes that might be able to kind of get the context, the purpose of the show. From Dado. Oh shit, what's going on here? I mean, I just don't feel right unless I'm fucking framed. It's like Roger Rabbit. Not the same. Unless there's some cunt framing him, you know what I'm saying? Completely different ballgame. Different film. Different film. Anyway, in the evening, Mohammed, Davo, blazing. You know, I have been betting a lot more during and after lockdown. Keeping it behind. So I thought what we'd do tonight with the purpose of seeing through the fear porn, because there's a blatant bit out there just now which is just completely laughable, and you can argue about the politics of the side of it, of whose side you're on, what Power Ranger you support. Is it red car? Is it the red car and the blue car had a war? All they did is want to fucking score. 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 Anyway, you get the kind of point. Hopefully. So, I thought what we'd do is just go and look at the predominantly the Western media. Uh-oh. What happened there? Power on. Uh-oh. Hold on. I think I'm having technical issues. I can't fucking work this shit. Come on, baby. Just connect to the Bluetooth. Oh, I'm asking. Yes, there we go. Because I thought I was having technical issues at the start because I couldn't hear my Kip's clips. Clip. But it was because it was connect. Right. So the idea is to go around the Western press. Oh, can you see my war is over poster there? It's hiding behind my clothes horse. I mean my treadmill. But again, like, war is over. If you want it to be, it's all in the mind. Just don't go to war. And just understand there always will be war. But you just don't have to be at it. That's my understanding. I declared myself independent way for this shit and like let them get on with it and watch the sidelines and keep score. But anyway, the idea is to go around the Western press, look at one event getting propagated the exact same way. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. The proof will be in the pudding. But all these independent journalistic sources from around the world. I think that's copyrighted. I think that's what they say before Mike Tyson takes on Frank Bruno. But what we'll do is, but to the best of my limited abilities, is bounce on the boob tubes and look at some of the different Western sources and how they're reporting this. Of course, this is a social experiment. It's like Big Brother. Remember when they brought Big Brother first out? They had like fucking psychologists sitting around and going, yes, well, I think the way that he jerks him off during the night tells me that they slept on the left-hand side of the bed as a kid. Do you know what I mean? And then I don't know how many series he's deep. It took them until they just dropped the charade, and it was just all hand jobs and tits out and wine bottles up the poontang in the back garden. I was a Big Brother advocate, not advocate. You take views up to yourselves if you want to watch the old Big Brother or not. But I was a Big Brother consumer back in the day. I loved it, man. Bunch of fucking want to be clowns making fools of themselves. What's there not to love? Anyway, I digress. So we will bounce around the reality TV shows of the Western press right now, and I think I've never seen the Western press so. I really don't know the word I'm looking for. Pathetic, laughable, see-through, making up as they go along. Oh, no, right, hold on, I've actually found the way I would like to describe it. I've never seen the Western press clutching for straws so badly. You know, like, making stuff up so blatantly. Like, understanding that they're under a bit of scrutiny nowadays. So knowing that they can't just tell barefaced lies and get away with it. So they kind of need to spin shit a wee bit harder than they maybe used to have to back in the day. Let's say the Gulf Wars and stuff like that. And it's laughable. I mean, like tonight, obviously what we're going to focus on is the fact that nuclear Armageddon! Fuck's sake. Next we'll be getting iodine pills dished out in the post. Just to be on the safe side, because we know by looking at Putler's face that he's obviously insane. And we know because looking at Putler's face, he's going to nuke us all. So we're going to start dishing out iodine pills. Where did you get these iodine pills from, Defence Minister? Well, we got them from Infowars.com. It's a good price, you know. Fuck's sake, man. I got to find one. Find one of my wee caps. Some caps. There we go. Iodine capsules. That's what I'm looking for. You know, I'm a hypocrite. I want to keep myself safe from the oncoming Chinese nuclear attack, according to Infowars.com. Because there's a war on for your pocket. Oh, dearie me. Right, I digress. Right, but that's the idea. Go and look as many outlets in the evening. The punk and OG, how you doing, guys and girls? Blazing in the evening, my man. Davo Mohammed. In the evening, guys and girls. So that's the idea. But to have a laugh, shits and giggles, and not cower in fear in the corner at any point, hopefully. Well, unless I see the nuclear bombs just getting launched straight towards... Because obviously, like, I'm the Oracle, so everybody... I'll be first strike. In all honesty, though, I think I'm probably close enough to die for the first strike. If there was, I'm saying this in pure candid passing terms, in the sense of like, I'm in Glasgow. Glasgow's close to Fastlane and all that jazz. In relatively speaking terms, and I've heard in passing that we would be fucked if there was such a thing. But not that it's going to happen, by the way. Or not that I think it's going to happen, but what I'm saying is, technically speaking, I didn't fart in the lift tonight. But somebody smelled it. But that's enough of taking that. Oh god, the more I fucking think about that, the more I can't see it. That's the more about these small complicational things that you might say are technical things. But I'm going to do it around the boob tubes. So, oh, hold on. Uh-oh. Al Jazeera English has just reported Putin is shutting down stuff in his country. Where the fuck am I? It doesn't surprise me. They were gloating about blowing up that TV fucking aerial in Ukraine the other day. And it's a tit for tat fucking... Now, Russia wouldn't be able to get away with doing that and brushing it aside if it wasn't for the West doing the exact same shit all over fucking Europe. Do you know what I mean? And this is the catch-22 that we're in. You know, see the way Russia's justifying all their shit that they're doing, and I can't see through their argument, to be quite honest with you, is, well, look what he's done in Iraq, Libya and Syria. That's what they need to say. And I heard them saying the other day when they were getting confronted with the civilian casualties, they didn't deny it. They said, well, it was used to coin the term collateral damage. Bitch, shut up. Do you know what I mean? The West have behaved so fucking morally fucking corrupt with all the drone strikes, fucking slaughtering of fucking civilians, and that's only the shit we fucking know about, that Russia can now go carte blanche. And the West, what do they have to say? Listen to the state of their football. In fact, well, listen to the state of the fucking media, actually, man. So, it's FUBAR. Declare yourself fucking independent for all fucking sides of the fucking double barrel bullshit and enjoy the shit show. I'm not saying it's great. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Run to what? Take out the Queen, take out the Pope, take out Putin, take out fucking that guy that can't open his eyes. I think his name's Biden. Can't he tell though? Just looks like fucking Mr. Magoo. What are you going to do as an individual? Go and join the fucking Tea Party. Go and join Black Lives Matters. Go and join Anonymous. Go and join... All these groups are all fucking getting steered to fucking round up their political masters and chop their head off. Ring any bells? Fuck me, man. I don't know. It takes a different way to... I don't have the answers. I'm just saying it will take a different way of thinking. Not to repeat the exact same shit that's been getting repeated for not decades, centuries, if not centuries, millennium. I would point back to the rise and fall of the well-documented fucking Roman Empire and Republic. fucking beautifully all it's a long read. I'm pretty sure there's a YouTube video out there that will cram it into an hour or something for you, man, just to maybe get you started. And then within that, there's wee small elements you can go and bounce into. It's, some would say it's 101 of modern politics, but it goes back to Greece, doesn't it? And then you could even say fucking Egypt beforehand, but... Or Babylonia. Babylon. Right, I digress about all that shit. So that's my idea if I can get in between ranting about fucking pill. Ranting about pish. Alex Shell Jones. How dare you! How dare you! Don't you know how good he's been for the resistance? Mate, your fucking man's sitting in the fucking White House. We are the resistance! What are you fucking resisting, the cunt in the White House? You fucking donut. I mean, it's almost as bad as the SNP pretending to be nationalists. So, Scottish Nationalist Party, what's your first port of call if you do actually get independence? Well, of course we'll be reinstating the European Union. What the fuck? Little Hitler bitch. Nazi supporting motherfuckers. You know, somebody put a banner up portraying her as a little Hitler and they got visited by the fucking her police force. We're fucked up here, man, honest to God. We are fucked up here. We've got a one-party dictatorship and a fucking one-party police force. One police force, one political party, dictatorship up here. And honest to God, all because of Braveheart and Mel Gibson. Thank you, Mel Gibson. That's very true, Alex. If you did have nukes, you could take it and you want. Well, look, if you sat at the Security Council and had a veto, you can act the way that these motherfuckers are acting. That's why Russia can just go out, go in there and bulldoze fucking Ukraine and all that. You know? Of course, that's not happening, RT told us. They're just riding in on unicorns and everybody's throwing down fucking rose petals. And then on the other hand, the BBC, man, this nuclear Armageddon. Anyway, let's get to the bullshit, man, before I fucking talk too much pish. Hard to believe, I know. Very hard to motherfucking believe. Let's see if this works. Do not laugh. Do not laugh. Right, hold on. What's going on here? Oh. No, it's not what I want. That's what I'm wanting, baby. There we go. So in the evening, one and all, as I said, I'll be going round the booktubes. Any suggestions what I want to do first? I was going to go France 20. What's it called? France 66? France 69? France. But France 24 is a good place to start. People don't often think about them. French? The baguette loving surrender monkeys? Doing a live. Doing it live. Is this live? This is live. War in Ukraine live. Doing it live. Need it live. Right.
Placing Putin's interpretation of Russian history and its roots. At least some artwork.
Oh, they're on now arguing about history and shit.
Foreign ministry said that Russian forces burned down a museum in Ivankiv, destroying 25.
I agree with you. That is a mythical creature. That isn't a French woman if she doesn't shave for a week.
The Kremlin's line on the war in Ukraine. Those breaking the law could face up to 15 years in prison. Russia's also blocked access to Facebook. The social media network said the move will cut millions.
Oh my god! Right, so RT gets absolutely blocked everywhere and all hundreds of shit gets blocked. They even stop them fucking having banks and all that. In retaliation, Russia blocked Facebook and they're shitting a brick trying to demonise Russia over it.
Now in a quasi-state of war, but refuses to stop working until the police have silenced them by force.
A journalist's obligation is to work. I don't care how they feel.
He is genuinely
for the state,
Tintin,
they
and
work
he's,
for
you
the
know, the
listeners.
professor
The
for
listeners don't
Tintin.
care about the health of the journalist, the dissolution of the radio, your child's illness, the weather. The journalist has an obligation to work and provide information, opinions, conversations, and so on.
The radio
Alright,
station
Tintin.
has appealed the decision, although they say they don't believe that there is much hope of it being overturned. The ban comes as access to BBC's Russian language services have been restricted. Moscow has said foreign...
They've not been banned or blocked, they've been restricted. Right, so they've done that to RT, they do that to the BBC. Oh man, I wish I had listened to the start of this shite.
Of the BBC Radio and Television Corporation.
Right, listen, I'm not going to upset myself and go on a tangent of that. You could laugh at all this pish. But as you see, man, the fucking croissant eating surrender monkeys who speak English, and like the one thing I know about French people is they're very arrogant. They're very particular about speaking French. You know, if you're French, you can speak French. So why they have an English-speaking news organisation, I don't know. It's almost as bad as them talking about BBC's Russia-speaking news organisation. Who thought about the BBC had that, eh? Right, I'm going to use the wonders of technology, or try to, and rewind this. I can't do this. I think I can. Can I? No, I can't. Oh no, they don't. They just do it live. They don't give you the DVR. Fuck you, surrender monkeys! Look at his face, I can tell he's mentally ill. Don't know about you. I often diagnose people through a picture on the news.
Properties that the government wants to seize as quickly as possible. So what means do the authorities have at their disposal? For the past few days, the Finance Ministry has been preparing its strategy, but it's likely to be a long...
Right, let's get back to the surrender monkeys later on at the top of the hour, if I can remember. I'll remember, of course I'll remember. Because I'm not listening to they're just... What do you call that? Packages? Packages are regurgitated doom and fear. Russia's bad, this is why, so on and so forth. Let's look for... right, I want to look at an American one. Not get distracted, but right, Fox. Fox is one of my favourites in America. Fox News Live. Look at Kyiv. Yes, they've got the DVR thing. I think. Yes, they do. What are they doing? Just watching the Doom live? Look at our cameras live! That flash there is obviously a Russian man raping 10 million women. What's that? 20 million women? Wow, Russia's been busy tonight. What the fuck is that? That's playing? There's audio? This must just be Doom live? Oh no, oh, do you know what this is? This is just Fox News with a live cam on fucking the Doom in it. Did they know Fox News? I'm way out of practice. Maybe should thought about this ahead. Beforehand. Right, maybe you need to go direct to this source. Must be like Fox News Live. Let me get the shit out. You can tell how experienced I am by getting the Fox News. It was 6 million women. Don't you know it, mate? 6.66, I'm sure. It's the lockdown that made Putin. Right, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do Sky News. I never do Sky News, and I know you can get fucking Sky News on this bad boy. At least the last time I was fucking in Rome. There we go. Sky News. Why can't you get Fox News Live? Oh, they'll have it all behind subscriptions and all that, won't they? Right, hopefully
was that
they've got to be...
within Ukraine, or was that?
That is within Ukraine. That is within Ukraine. So when
what exactly did you experience? What did you see? What was happening exactly?
When the train gets over there, the train going to Poland, only the Ukrainians are allowed to enter.
Oh, is he talking about the neo-Nazis that aren't allowing like black and brown people fucking cross the border and all that shit? Shh! Don't talk about that, Sky News.
And find a way to the border. Well,
right,
we were on our way, talk to someone.
Let's do some space balls
to help us, and for him, he decided to chat with
Prince.
This is us in our time machine doing some space balls, flying around the world. Where we stop, nobody knows. Woo!
Experiences of racist discrimination have made escaping the country even more fraught. I'm joined now by Prince Trum, a Ghanaian national.
They've got to blame Russia, haven't they?
To Poland. Welcome to you. Many of the people fleeing have been students that we've seen, but not in your case. Tell us when you first went to Ukraine and what life has been like for you thus far.
Well, I went to Ukraine, or came to Ukraine in 2015 to study in international law. And then, well, at the start, in my city where I studied in the center of Cherkasy, in a city called Cherkasy, in the center of Ukraine, in a city called Cherkasy, there were not that many foreign students, particularly people coming from Africa, as in other cities like Kiev, Kharkiv, Dnipropetrovsk. So at the start, it was a bit difficult for me trying to...
A bit difficult for me to understand what you're saying, mate, to be quite honest, man. Right, let's get to the top of the hour and see the nuclear Armageddon. Otherwise, don't worry, we're going back in the time machine, folks. Floating, flying around the world. Spaceballs. Fast forwarding and rewinding life itself. People don't get that reference. Well, you've missed out on a classic.
Power station.
Oh, there we go.
This is Sky News
Nuclear
at 9 o'clock. Headlines
Armageddon!
this evening. Russia faces worldwide condemnation for shelling Europe's largest nuclear power station.
Right, like, surely this news has got to be held accountable for just that statement being completely fraudulent. They didn't shell a nuclear power station. Didn't happen. I'm not telling you what happened, or go and fucking find out for yourself. In fact, let's listen to this report. In this report, they'll admit that now remember that first statement? that most people will just get implanted in their head and they'll go and run with that. I know myself, if I'm pushed for time and I want to know what's happening in the world so I can browbeat people that day, I just listen to the headlines and I'm ready to rock and roll.
Come are likely to be worse.
Worse.
More death, suffering, and more destruction.
The capital digs in. The citizens of Kiev prepare for the coming Russian onslaught. As the UN Security Council discusses the attack, the Russian representative blames Ukrainian saboteurs and calls it an attempt to rekindle artificial hysteria.
I blame the Easter Bunny. And because I'm standing up here in a suit, and it's getting reported on the BBC and Sky News, it's real.
Ambushed in the capital, our correspondent's first-hand account of being shot in Ukraine. More than 1 million refugees on the move. The Home Secretary launches a new scheme to allow Ukrainians to join family members in the UK.
Whoa, beautiful, isn't it?
And in other news, tribute to one of the greatest cricketers of all time.
I mean, it's stuff like that that doesn't aid the rise of the far right. You know, see when shit like that happens, I just don't see the far right just fucking absolutely capitalising, that's the word I'm looking for. Because we're not commies, we're capitalists after all. Capitalising on this shit. I can't see it. I, for the life of me, cannot fucking see the far right of politics, the immigrant mob, capitalising on this. I can't see it. I cannot see it. What I can see them doing is going, heal the world, make it a better place. I'll welcome Ukrainians into my house to help the human race. There are people dying. Get rid of the brown and black people. But if you care enough for the white cans, make a better place for the Ukrainians. What is going on? You know, I'm just stating a fact here. What is going to happen is, as a consequence of all this pish. Now, remember, Russia can do this and get away with it, and not lose, and not, and still sort of, and not fall off the moral pedestal or whatever, because they're doing no worse. In fact, they're not doing as worse. That's bad English, but it's good Scots. They're fucking shit up less. See, all I do is need to put a fuck in there and I know how to punctuate it. They're fucking shit up less in what's that country? Ukraine, than the West did in Syria, Libya, and Iraq. Not to mention what's going on in Libya, which is a kind of proxy, because it wouldn't happen if the West wasn't supplying the guns, bombs, and bullets. This is just. I mean, is there anybody out there willing to? Russia do play cricket, mate.
Time. Shane Warne, who's died aged 52. Good evening. Ukraine has survived a near miss after an attack on its biggest nuclear power station. Russian troops seized control of the facility.
Shut up, you dick.
After heavy shelling, which caused a fire. There doesn't appear to have been any damage caused to the reactors at the plant, nor any.
There doesn't appear. There is none. The BBC reported today that the building that was in fucking fire was a training facility that got set on fire with a fucking a gunfight with laser guns between the Ukrainians and the Russians when the Russians were taking it from the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians are still in charge of the people that were in charge of the levers and buttons. I used to be a nuclear expert back in the day. Are still in charge. And the building that was on fire was because of a firefight between, as I said, the fucking two opposing armies that were there. Oh my god, this is just... This is Wag the dog. And they're wagging this dog fucking hard, man.
Leaks, but NATO's chief has condemned the move.
And I couldn't have got a prettier woman to do it.
Meanwhile, key cities around the country remain under sustained Russian bombardment. That includes the capital, Kiev, where tonight police say at least 7 people, including 2 children, were killed in an airstrike. Sky News has witnessed preparations in the city for a Russian onslaught, with citizens, including young women, preparing to take up arms for the first time. Our special correspondent, Alex Crawford, reports now from Kiev as the capital prepares.
Kiev!
Welcome to hell.
Well done, Hen, I like you now.
At the entrance to the capital on the outskirts of the city, they're hunkering down and preparing.
Put it this way, I can take her to a fucking restaurant. And no wonder it's what she's doing, like having a fit when she's trying to order the chicken Kiev! Chicken Kiev!
To fight with all their might. But they're taking every precaution, and they've asked us to keep the location here secret and protect their identities.
What do you have to do, do you think?
Shoot. Just shoot. Shoot. And protect my home. That's all. It's easy.
All around the city, they are building defences. They've seen the pummeling of other cities, and with a 40-mile convoy of Russian military hardware sitting on the edge of the capital, they believe they're next. There are several warnings of mines ahead. The streets are scattered with scrap metal spikes and tyres, and huge metal anti-tank hedgehogs.
Nothing says spreading freedom and democracy like fucking scenes that remind you of saving the beaches and Saving Private Ryan. Because that's a film, you know, it's not based on real stuff.
Anything to slow the advance of the Russian troops. There's frenetic activity inside the dozens of civil defence stations.
I was listening to the No Agenda show earlier on, right? And they're Yankee Doodle Dandy centric. And they were talking about chicken Kiev. And they didn't know what the fuck it was. It's a staple diet over here, man. Cheap fucking chicken, processed chicken with cheap garlic butter spewed into the middle of it. And then breadcrumb that fucker. What's so not to like?
Where every room is piled.
And no matter how you cook that fucker, no matter how you cut that, you can't keep all that lovely juiciness in the middle till you want to eat that.
High with donations.
Was it water supplies, food?
Yes.
Water, food, sleeping mats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Soldiers and civilians are working in unison. These are the ones who've opted to stay behind whatever happens. These people ran businesses, had careers just over a week ago. Their lives now put on hold and all.
Oh, it's alright, man. The British government's already promised them penthouse fucking villas.
Almost certainly changed forever. But with time running out, we were told over and over again how much they needed tougher international action.
Nobody knows what Putin can do today or even tomorrow. And
yeah, start World War III for a country that tolerates battalions of Nazis.
Will not work. So we need actions yesterday.
This is what they're preparing to take on. Russian military hardware and soldiers, all edging ever closer to the capital. These pictures were released by the Russian Defense Ministry, purporting to show their troops entering the Kiev region. The videos come after US defense officials claimed, without providing any evidence, that they believed the convoy had stalled and was having logistical issues. The capital civilians believe it's only a matter of time, but insist they're ready.
I can't explain you what the feelings of our Ukrainians in here is, because everyone has relatives, has their loved ones who are under fire right now, or who was wounded right now, or who was killed right now. It's impossible to explain to people who don't live in such of despair. But this despair, it's not despair, oh, we are surrendered. No, it's despair, we will win. We will go, we will fight you back to hell, where your place is.
Many of these people hadn't picked up a weapon.
Got a flavour the ground cartilage.
At the sounds of war.
Like, that isn't breadcrumbs, man. That's fucking crushed up bones. On your chicken cave! Chicken cave!
What are you hearing sounds like that? Are you scared?
It's normal for me already.
It's normal life. Your life has changed so much.
Yeah, it's just like no fear. I don't feel anything inside.
Oh my! Like, see, like, she's a young looking lassie. You could consider her good looking, cute looking, you know, you could fucking... See in 40 years time, man, Babalenka'd up. Again, you sit her down and she turns into a fucking... There's hundreds of them start coming out at each other. So, there's 1 million refugees just now. See in a few years time, there's going to be 4 million. Because they're all Babalenka fucking... multiplier... doll cup things. I honestly have seen the intelligence reports. It's a fact.
Already.
And she shouldn't do that with her hat, man. It makes you well look more like a smurf than you hefty.
Her friend is a graduate in biochemistry and is still studying her.
What news channel can you get? What American news channel can you get live on the YouTubes? Does anybody know? If anybody knows, I tried to get the Fox News. Can't get the Fox News. They've just got a CCTV on Doomcam. And my knowledge runs a bit short. Well, my knowledge doesn't run short, actually. It's my dyslexic nut that can't fucking soak in the stupid ass fucking American fucking fetish for abbreviations. NSMPPT, See soon, in America, they're not actually going to speak fucking the pidgin English that they fucking already speak. No offence, Yankee Doodle Dandies. They're just going to speak in abbreviations. Honestly, the whole rest of the world isn't going to be able to fucking understand an American amongst us. They're just going to speak in, hey, yo, hey, letters. Letters and emojis. Anyway. Sorry, I love Americans, man. Look, my surname's Houston. What can I fucking say? I rule the place. Right, hold on, is this going to be a link? Oh, here we go. Thank you very much. My little helper will remain anonymous. I do not disclose inside leg measurements or bra sizes on this channel. Anyway, thanks. Let me see if I can figure out where the fuck I am. Now I'm going to type it in here. It comes up on oh, here we go. Oh, what's this? Now I'm a bit confused. Don't stick it in the Googles. Oh no, in fact, let me just stick it in search bar. That's what I should have done. Thank you very much. See, as you can tell, I'm a Rain Man in technical skills there. What? I'm a ninja technical skills. Right, ABC, I know that. That's after an American network, isn't it? There we go. Straight off the bat, if it works, beautiful.
A police officer, the judge,
brilliant.
In very detailed accounts of what happened. She said at one point, she said that
no COVID in Ukraine.
exposed
can't
as a genuine
exist.
to a victim. All of this unfolded several years ago. Let's go to video. It started in 2015.
This ain't
when
news.
apparently
This is
10
Jeremy
girls and women
Springer. Well, in fact, that is news nowadays, isn't it? BBC America, C-SPAN. Oh, this is a cracking fucking wee resource, man. Having that. Thank you very much. CNBC. See, I can't get the abbreviations. Fuck, man, nuts.
Widen. So any rally that we see going forward, I would like to see improvement in credit. If we don't see it, I think that's a warning sign.
They talked about Nazi rallies.
How the markets have reacted. I mean, volatility. It's only a 31
Hey, hold
right
on,
now.
man.
It
That's
did
almost
go
the
up
top of the
today,
hour.
which is a
So
little bit unusual to go up on a Friday, but
these must be like centric to certain things, if that makes sense. Fox News. Oh no, hold on. That's just Fox. Here's Fox News.
But when he was blocked in that effort.
Yeah! Woo! Back to the war! Come on! The red car and the blue car had a war.
And start attacking them and putting people in situations that we haven't seen since World War II. We've seen it in some of the situations that you just talked about.
Let's count how many times we can hear Hitler. That was a reference to World War II. And how many times we can hear nuclear.
Image, and I think you're right. I think that people are going to become horrified that these people are not getting air cover. And I'm not saying I'm in favor of it. I understand the arguments against it, but it's going to continue to incite a lot of emotional reaction in America.
The types of civilian targeting that you're seeing now, Janine, if bin Laden had access to Russia's artillery, those are the types of targets he would be hitting. Schools, residential towers, those things. And it's alarming to see.
I love the way they want you to believe
and
that.
now he's gone after a nuclear power plant, which makes it even
scarier. Nuclear!
So accurate. I mean, there isn't even a hint of justification on the part of Putin. There isn't any historical, fight going on. There's not a religious
I love
fight going
Fox
on.
News, man.
Putin
It's
just
just
made a decision. I want to take over this country, and if it means killing innocent civilians
Hold on, I'll
and
turn that
children,
up, please.
it doesn't matter to me. And initially we thought, well, maybe he's keeping the infrastructure strong. He's not doing that. Now, what's happening in Kharkiv is he's destroying everything. And we are, the American people, we're not used to this. We're not used to seeing this kind of thing. A father kneeling over the body of a 6-year-old who's lost his life.
What are you talking about, man? You seen it a few years ago in Syria, and then years before that. And every other war zone America fucking propagated, you dumb bitch.
To just looking at this and saying,
Are these
and I think it's one of the reasons why, and we talked about this last
People's
week,
attention span is that small.
The 48% of
to be
Americans
honest,
were willing to accept
they do it because
even
you can get
higher
away
gas
with it.
prices to get involved in the Ukraine. But this is too close and personal.
Oh, that's
This
that
is too
crazy
painful.
whore
And
fucking
at some point,
Judge
I think
Janine,
the
innit?
American people are going to be angry that there isn't
Oh,
a
I
better
love her,
response
man.
on our
She's
part.
just
And the American people are going to be really
fucking-
angry if they cut the lights out through this nuclear reactor, Katie, and you're seeing people in the dark, not ability to
Fox
keep
does
the
mean
lights on,
666
feed
in
themselves,
numerology.
running water, all kinds of things. I mean, that could be something you've never, ever seen
Yeah, I know
on
we're
this
gonna
scale.
Put it in
the
Google.
humanitarian
It's
crisis in a minute, but
true.
I think that what's going on in Ukraine, we're not even seeing the worst of it. We're not seeing the dead bodies of civilians on the television. It's extremely graphic. I think the numbers aren't going to come out for a long time, and it's a time game. NATO
Look,
made it clear
that-
today
that-
that they're not going
that
to institute a
flare.
no-fly zone.
Look,
The
it's a
United States has said the
flare.
same thing. So the question is, how
It's
long can
honestly
the
a
Ukrainian forces
flare.
hold off
I'm no
Russia
expert.
when it comes to what they
That's
want
a
to do?
motherfucking
And
flare.
according to the French president,
And
Putin
that's
is going
the
to continue
attack.
to take Ukraine.
And
There's been
remember, that's a
nothing,
training
done
facility.
so far up to this
So they were
point, or
probably lighting
indications
it
even
up
with the West helping
before the
Ukrainians
Russian
that he
special
plans to turn
forces
back.
went in
And,
with
Martha
fucking
today interviewed
goggles,
John Kirby,
because
who's the
goggles
Pentagon
can take
spokesperson,
away
and
the
she asked
glare
what
for
the
the
goal
flare.
was for what the West is doing, and they said
The glare
goal is
for
to
the
get Putin to
flare.
retreat. Well, all
Will make you
indications are that
fucking
that's
lose
not
your
happening.
stare.
And that is the goal: is to repeal the invasion, to make it stop.
Aye,
So
Alex,
far, that's
Michelle
not
Jones.
happening. Again, time
More
will tell.
bodies!
But the most recent example of
Woohoo!
the
More
way that Putin
civilians
operates
to
is
drop in
Syria.
front of the Western
Aleppo was
civilians to
completely,
make justify
destroyed,
World War
flattened. The
III
photos
and a
from Syria,
no-fly
hundreds of
zone.
thousands of civilians dead as a result of his partnership with Bashir al-Assad. And so, given his behavior then and the fact
Team
that he didn't really
America,
suffer much from
fuck
the international
yeah!
community,
Coming
I'm not
along
surprised
to
that he
start
thinks he can do it
World War
again.
III again, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to a Ukrainian MP, and he
Oh my God, I forgot how bad Fox News
And this was today, and he
Beautiful,
said they need to get that humanitarian corridor agreed on so people can get out safely. But Putin doesn't care about that. It is a negotiation. Like, if you agree to that, that actually makes the devastation less devastating and therefore not as urgent to surrender. So he doesn't care about that. So they talk about the no-fly zone. And our fear is you shoot down a Russian jet, that's war. But what the Ukrainians will tell you is it is already war. It's already World War III. And if you don't establish a no-fly zone, then we're going to have a lot of dead people.
You heard it here first. It's already World War III. Already World War III. Already. Yeah, I'm going down bookies to put my fucking money on a favourite.
The no-fly zone. So here's the problem.
Coming
we
in
can't
first
push this
place.
narrative of Ukrainian fighting back heroically. And it's an amazing, it's the little guy versus the big guy, and then we don't help them out. We can't pretend to be their bodyguard and not agree to this. In fact, in many ways, we are complicit in this. Like, we used Ukraine to annoy Russia, and the Ukraine used us to protect them. So now we're in a situation where we're saying no to a no-fly zone, and we're sending Kamala there. These are not moves a person would make who's intent on winning a war. And I go back to the first thing I said, which is
right, Paddy, that'll be my next stop.
He's willing to destroy his own country, right? He's essentially creating a civil war. He believes Ukraine is part of Russia. Right. So in a sense, he's attacking his own country. And now that we call him a war criminal, which you could argue he is, and it's a good point,
attacking your own country,
there's no way
baby.
you can lose, because if you're a war criminal and you lose, then you die. So the war criminal has to win. So that kind of language means he's going all the way to the end.
War criminal has to win.
Amongst the Ukrainians to convince the elite Russians in these top circles that they need to save Russia from Putin. It's not about Ukraine anymore. It's about you need to save your country from Putin, because he's literally taken a fairly large country.
I don't know if it was so. I don't know if I would describe it as bait as much. But definitely didn't give a fuck about them, and like we used them as a buffer, I would say. And it was just like,
having Ukraine part of Russia is a really good thing.
To see how far the NATO could push their boundaries.
They have to argue.
They found Russia's red line, and they're surprised Russia's said the red line is where they said the red line was at some point.
And you don't do something, you will also be put to death. I think that's the only persuasion you have.
Civil wars are the best. Woohoo! Brother against brother! Woohoo! Bring it on!
Millions of refugees fleeing Putin's brutal invasion.
His brothers from the same mother at each other's throat. Brought to you live by the 5.
Where does the stress go when you're driving a Lincoln?
Oh, do you know what? I find it fascinating.
Does it float off into the clouds?
Thingamajigs.
You might have your own theory.
Right.
But maybe it's better to just let it go.
How do I get back here? Right, what the fuck was it? SBC. Right, come on, please, talking about nuclear Armageddon. Right, remember, we're looking for nuclear and
the
Hitler.
Russian military is so much bigger and so much better armed.
She looks like a fucking raccoon.
What are we getting wrong with that analysis?
Wrong.
There is nothing wrong about that. There was underestimation.
God,
Putin wanted to take
good
Ukraine,
comedy call, man.
Maybe
Straight off the bat.
hours. Well, watch us. We are standing for 9 days, and we will be standing more and more.
It's not
and
big.
again, this
not
is
clever.
not only because of brave Ukrainians, but because of the massive
it's not
international
fun to
support
point
with,
out she got stung with a bee
and
today.
Military equipment, etc., etc. And second, we did not underestimate Putin's forces. We know that it's a horde,
in Ukraine
and he will
as
be
well.
bringing more and more of them. But the thing is that he underestimated how hard we will fight, and that there is a difference between an invader and people who are fighting for their country, because we don't get exhausted right now. We know that for us it's a life or death situation. And that's why we have much longer track of their morale and ability to resist. Plus, we do really hope for support that is coming up, and we do really hope that internally Russia will start destabilize and collapse. There will be a major protest planned for the Sunday afternoon, I think 2 p.m. in all Russian cities, where people who are against the war, against Putin, who don't want to suffer all the economic hells that Putin is putting the country through, they are coming out. I don't know how many people would be there, and I really hope that there will be more than enough to inspire the others. And we know it will be super scary to do it in Russia, where you can get killed only by going on the protest. However, this is also a time for Russian people to stand up for themselves and to see if that's what they want, to have Putin as a dictator in their country. So that's why this is our hope, that the Russian people will create a distraction for Putin from what's going on in Ukraine that will allow us to buy some time. And we know at war, time is of essence, and it means everything. So we will not lose the momentum, and we'll have enough time for the sanctions to work. Maybe NATO will change their mind and give us the protection that we need. We have seen this happening with the sanctions. We will see it happening with the no-fly zone as well.
Ukraine, the absolute Ukraine in the West has been like that. Now, they love to go on about World War II and Hitler. Let's investigate a wee bit about the verifiable history about World War II. Who was Ukraine allied with? Well, there was lots of Nazi elements within Ukraine. It was allied with Nazi Germany. Who was Russia allied with in World War II? That would be the West against the Nazis. Boom, 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 boom. Sorry, man. I just love to say that. It's just weird the way these motherfuckers twist this shit as if fucking like Ukraine's been like the West's dangleberry for fucking ever. The East Europeans are fucking completely different culture for anything that fucking touches a baguette. Fuck me, man.
Communication weird.
Fucking Yankee Doodle Dandies, lucky if they've got a fucking passport between them, never mind fucking knowing how interlinked cultures are, or aren't, or can, or cannot be.
For Russian people to show their minds and to do something that they would otherwise regret for the rest of their lives, that they didn't stand up when they had to. So I really do hope that many of them will find strength in their minds, strength in their souls to stand up and say, we don't want this war, we don't want to be isolated.
I'm even scared to get started, mate. I'm not even joking.
19th century country. We want the progress.
Talk about crisis actors.
Kira Rudik, thank you so much for spending some time with us, for talking to us.
Emergency.
Please stay safe, and please come back and talk to us anytime you want. Thank you so much.
She definitely was born fucking
After the break, the
came out her most
overwhelming
fanny
courage
teeth
on
first.
display in Ukraine from the citizens, like Kira, who you just heard from, who stayed to fight, to the innocent people risking it all, leaving everything behind just to stay alive. The scenes there are inspiring, they are heartbreaking, they are terrifying. Plus, as Russia wages war in Ukraine, back home, Vladimir Putin is cracking down on speech in a huge way. Dissent, even bigger. And the people...
Oh no! What's he doing? Is he blocking accesses to foreign web news organizations?
What's to be done with Vladimir Putin, and how far is too far? Deadline White House continues after a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Oh man, I love Americans. I really do love them. Right, any suggestions where to go next? I'm trying to think. France 24. Have we got that on this? So I'm trying to figure out what this is. I think this just looks like a list of all the American news stuff. NBC, that's one I recognise. I fucked up for a game of soldiers. PBS. Is that not very good value for CNN? Good call, mate. I haven't watched CNN in a long time. I honestly didn't know it still existed. Not that I'm worried it wasn't there. What's CNN again? They're like CIA's mouthpiece,
in front of the home where he perished.
Oh my god, look, Sky News. Why is there so many English-speaking cunts over in American
for that
news?
of his wife Oksana, still buried under its ruins. What we're seeing here is the true face of this Russian invasion. President Putin doesn't seem to care.
Please, and you've got
that
the
civilians are
box
caught by his
set of
shells and
SpongeBob,
rockets.
mate.
He's not liberating this country, he's destroying it. There is no hearse for the bodies.
Shit, what's that? You're saying cheap children? What?
1 week on,
That
and
is
this
like
war
Sky-
has already
that's a
robbed
Sky
the
News
dead
report.
of their dignity and left the living seething with fury. Putin, you should die, he says. In Natasha's garden, they're sifting the rubble for anything worth salvaging. She was sheltering 9 people in her home, including several young children. Their car had been shot as they ran the gauntlet from the city.
So what's CNN? Where's
He showed me where they were
CNN's
sleeping when the
checks
first missile hit.
coming
The
for
shockwave
Alex?
ripped through
I'm
every
assuming you're
room, lacerating them all with
American,
glass.
buddy.
The children escaped without major injury.
Это так страшно. Война – это очень страшно. И пусть матеря, которые не понимают, у которых нет информации в России, что здесь творится, и их детей тоже здесь убивают. Их убивают здесь детей. Они пушечное мясо. Мы пушечное мясо. Они пушечное мясо.
I don't know if what you're talking about what Iran was up until
в мире
the...
должен быть мир. Люди должны жить.
Whatever
Они
happened,
разбирать завалы.
and they went religiously fucking nuts. But apparently they had, like, you can find footage, just stock footage of Iranian girls wearing miniskirts and all that during the 60s and stuff. I think, I'm assuming that's
Across
what
the
you're talking
street,
about,
a
buddy.
garden hewn
Look at
apart
them
by the
now.
impact.
Ukraine were more civilised than the Scots in the 18th century. Right, mate, never knew that.
Across the street, a garden hewn apart by the impact. The
up
blast
until
so
the
powerful it
Enlightenment, right,
overturned
okay.
cars. The crater
Scots
so
became
deep,
the best in
you could bury one
inventing, right,
inside
get
it.
the context now, mate.
People are left
Yeah.
sifting through
Cheech.
what's left without the
Look at
support
Glasgow,
of any
mate.
aid agencies.
I don't know if it's
wondering
still
what will
true,
come
right?
next.
But let me think. Early 90s,
The shelling continues to echo
Glasgow
across
was
this shattered
the
community.
high-rise. The high-rise.
There is no
the
obvious
high-rise
military
flat
target
capital
here,
of Europe.
just a village which tried to offer shelter
and
to those in need.
A lot of the images that were projected
Thank you to
during the
ITN's
end of the
Dan
Cold
Rivers
War, or during when the
reporting
Cold
from
War was
outside
still
Kharkiv
going
for
on,
us.
was
Is
that all the
this the
communist
cost of
places
doing
were
business?
horrible
Some of the
big
biggest
tower
companies
blocks
in the
and
world
stuff.
staying
If you
silent
looked in
when it
fucking
comes
Glasgow,
to
they
their
still exist, by the
operations
way, the
in
majority of
Russia.
them.
Stay
But
with us.
not all of them, but the majority of them.
When the hands that do the fixing need fixing. When the hands that do the
Mate,
caring
I don't want to
need
be
caring.
turned, but
That's a
apparently
job
Easter
for
House looks
O'Keefe's
not too
working
bad,
hands.
doesn't
It's
it?
America's number
But I
one
used to
selling
kick about
hand
there
cream
as a
and
young
guarantee
laddie, man.
relief for extremely dry, cracked
Had
hands.
cousins,
Also try
auntie,
O'Keefe's
auntie and uncle that
moisturizing
stayed
hand
up
soap.
there and used to go up, be up there quite a lot, man, and that was fucking gold, the fucking...
what's possible.
The,
With Rebelsis,
The majority of people taking Rybelsus lowered their blood sugar and reached an A1C of less than 7. Rybelsus isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. Don't take Rybelsus if you or your family ever had medullary thyroid cancer, or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if allergic to it. Stop Rybelsus and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis.
I'm going
Tell
to
your
bore
provider
fucking
about vision
cunts with the
problems or
actual
changes.
history of football
Taking Rybelsus
and
with
why
a
Scotland
surprisingly
did
audience
invent football.
increases low
Now,
blood
a lot of
sugars.
people will
Side
point
effects like nausea, vomiting,
to the first
diarrhea
Football
may lead to
Association,
dehydration,
which was the
may
first set of
worsen
rules put down
Wake up to the
competition. No, in
possibility
fact, it
of
wasn't the
lower
first set of
A1C
rules put down, but it was the
with
first
You
organised
may pay as
competition
little as
structured,
$10
so on
for
and so
three-month
forth,
prescription.
which was set up in the
Ask your
Freemasons
healthcare
Tavern
provider about
down in the
Rybelsus
city of London,
today.
coincidentally.
When
It's no longer
America
there,
is tested,
but that's where
we
it was
find
set up.
strength from
Now,
within
if you go and
and
look who
power
set
through
up
the challenges, but it takes reliable, affordable
the
energy.
Football
and
Association
we've got a choice on how
back
we
in the
get it.
day.
Import energy from unstable
What you'll find
regions,
is there was a
or
lot
produce
of
natural gas and
military
oil right
industrial
here in America.
complex members, if
Depend
you
on
want to
foreign
call it that.
governments for our natural gas
Now,
and oil, or
look
protect
at the
our energy
timeline.
independence, keep
Look what
American
was
jobs,
happening in
and
Europe.
maintain global
Now, it was only
competitiveness.
1775 that you had the fucking French rounding up their aristocracy, and they had to invent the guillotine because they had to figure out ways of chopping their fucking heads off quicker. What do you think the aristocracy over here were doing?
Identity theft protection starts here at
Shitting themselves.
We hit the bike trail.
So how did they fucking get us to stop thinking about rounding up our aristocracy and chopping their head off like the French and all the Europeans were doing? Because after the French Revolution, the idea of what the French Revolution stood for spread like wildfire throughout Europe, where the same thing started to happen. If you know your history. Coincidentally, over here the idea started to get muted, and if you go and look at all the politics and all that, it sort of started to get fermented in and around that time. And what else did you have? The advent of professional sport.
Increased risk of Guillain-Barré syndrome was observed after getting Shingrix.
Make of that what you will.
The most common side effects are
Up
pain,
here you
redness,
had
and
the
swelling of the injection
Rangers.
site, muscle pain,
And
tiredness,
anyway,
headache,
right,
shivering,
this is
fever, and upset
how
stomach. Ask your pharmacist
now,
or doctor about Shingrix.
Scotland
Shingles doesn't care,
invented modern
but you
football.
should.
Now, I'd love to claim Rangers to fame
It was
for it.
almost never about
Celtic can't claim the
I think it
fame,
was
but
about
it's
Tony
Queen
learning how
Park
to be a better
Rangers,
person.
the team that frequents Hampden Park. And what happened was, right, when football was first invented, you had the rugby football and you had football. It was two separate rules. Now, when you go and look, I don't know if any of you remember Harry Enfield
We
back in
can
the
say
day.
that Daily Harvest takes care of food so that food
I'm gonna
can take
shut
care
this
of you.
fucking thing
Get
up.
started today.
I don't know if anybody will actually fucking be interested in this, but I'm going to butter on anyway. So back in the day when football was first getting played right on the park, you had rugby football that had their own set of rules in the hand, and you had football which was with the foot, and then fuck this better. Oh fuck, thanks, please. And then what you had was you turn the adverts off and then you fucking Skype shade and you lose track. So you had rugby football in the hand, you had football with the feet. That was the separation of the disciplines when football first started getting put into code. You can tell I've read up my history, man, like with football. But anyway, I digress. Harry Enfield alluded to this when he used to do the comedy sketches of the football back in the day, when he would just do everybody kicking the ball and 20 players all running for the one ball. As funny as that looks, that was the way football used to get played. Football used to get played very similarly, like sort of a rugby, but with the feet. You know, there was no passing to keep the ball. There was, right? So it was played in a very different mindset. Then came along Queen's Park Rangers. They didn't go along with the status quo. They read the rules and went, we're going to do something different. And they done something different and invented modern football. And that's how Scotland invented modern football as it's played today, i.e. the passing game. Interchanging passing between players and not just a kick up the fucking park and everybody rush and try and get the ball. And then when you get the ball, kick it up the park, everybody rush, and then with the goal to try and get it between the sticks. Because that's the way it was played before. Or Scott hold it. Anyway, I digress, man. But if you're interested in your soccer or whatever, or even just sport in general, quick, let's get back to the Doom.
Ukraine. He has not been getting favorable responses to any of that. NATO has been saying no. We cannot get involved in
the little fucking X Factor fucking star criticises NATO to decide not to start World War III.
Clearly, we're seeing
thank you, you little fucking midget fucking cunt.
Deeply, deeply frustrated, given how aggressive and how brutal the Russians have begun to be in their targeting of Ukrainian cities and civilians. Jake.
And Natasha, Secretary Blinken also pushed back against the calls to sanction Russian energy directly. Why? What did he have to say?
Wait, let me see.
They don't want to roil the global energy markets too much, essentially. They said that changing this kind of
I love the way they really genuinely want you to swallow that Russians are walking down the street shooting women and babies indiscriminately.
For the global economy. That is what they're saying.
That.
They're saying that
absolutely love it.
Nord Stream 2, that Russia to Germany gas pipeline, was a big victory, and that is something that was highly valued by Russia, and that is something that they believe will have big consequences for the Russian economy moving forward. But that sanctioning Russia's energy sector in and of itself is probably not the best move.
Did anybody stick in the chat who butters the CNN's bread?
We do
is
know
the
that
CIA
the White House
right
is
enough?
considering cutting off oil exports, imports from Russia. It is not a massive part of the U.S. Imports already for oil and gas. They don't import much from Russia as is, but it would be a symbolic move. And of course, the United States has been very reluctant to do anything unilaterally. They've been wanting to do it with allies. The allies, of course, very reluctant to do anything that might harm the Europeans' ability to import that oil and gas, especially in winter. So right now, the energy aspect of this does not seem to be very much on the table, apart from restricting those oil imports into the United States. But they still say that all options here are on the table, and things that we might not have imagined they would have imposed a couple weeks ago, they have been. So they are not ruling anything out at this point, Jake.
All right, Natasha Bertrand traveling with the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, in Brussels. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. In the money lead today, more U.S. companies cut ties with the Kremlin. Google stopped advertising in Russia altogether. Microsoft suspended new product sales. FedEx stopped all services in Russia and in Belarus. But brands such as Marriott, McDonald's, Burger King, Pepsi, Coca-Cola all have yet to say how or even if they'll respond to Putin's unprovoked invasion.
Oh my god, I think McDonald's should pull out their fucking 10 billion fucking restaurants. This is ridiculous. What was the boycott Israel shit? Remember people were going on about boycott Israeli products that were grown or made or whatever in occupied territories and shit? And there were people losing their shit about that and all that. Then you have, not only that, if you listen to like the main players in the press, and this is the first time I've listened to CNN in God knows how many years, they're all singing from the same hymn sheet, which is quite, well, I'm not scary, it's very fucking predictable, but it's like, what would you call it? Espionage, industrial espionage. I won't say that too many times because the more I think about it, the harder it will get.
Stellantis, the company that owns Jeep and Chrysler, they're trying to draw a line between the people of Russia and the regime of Russia. And they're saying they don't want
everybody was losing their shit and all that.
But again, Jake, the pressure is only going to grow on these companies to make a stand.
Might there be moral repercussions for appearing to put money first and not severing ties right now?
Moral is like everybody's browbeating, virtue signalling fucking little bitches, man. Fuck's sake, if you're going to browbeat McDonald's for selling a burger in Moscow because of fucking what Putin's doing, fuck me. You backward idiots. There's obviously something going on here. There's obviously like a chain of command and there isn't a brain fucking in it. Because these motherfuckers must fucking actually hate having to do this shit. I'm embarrassed to do this. You know what I mean? But they get paid enough money, I suppose.
Now, so there are some risks, and Sonnenfeld also pointed out that history was not very kind to the companies that continued to do business with Germany during World War II. Now, that's not a perfect analogy, but I think it gets the point across. I don't think that Vladimir Putin ever had a great brand in America, but right now it's pretty toxic.
Big news here in the U.S. with the economy adding.
I want to buy my Putler mug.
Job growth since July. But is the U.S. job market, is it back to pre-pandemic levels yet?
Well, Jake, this is a hot jobs market, but no, it is not fully recovered. The losses from COVID. The United States is still 2.1 million jobs shy of where it was before the pandemic began. That is a lot of jobs, but you got to remember the economy lost 22 million jobs after this health crisis began. So there has been a ton.
Did they just say what the fuck? What's a pandemic? Anybody know what a pandemic is?
18% in April of 2020, down to 3.8% now. All of this shows that the U.S. economy and the jobs market in particular entered the Russia-Ukraine crisis from a position of strength. The question is whether or not it's strong enough, Jake, to withstand this inflationary pressure, especially at the gas pump.
Right, it seems that I've got access to most American networks, so if there's any suggestions out there.
Before war began, before Russia invaded.
Oh, gee, I do want to put our bobblehead. That would be the business.
CNN is on the train.
See, for somebody out there with a fucking 3D printer, by the way, get yourself started, man.
Every business is on a journey, and along the ride, you'll find many challenges. Your Dell Technologies advisor.
How fascinating is it watching like other countries' adverts? Like soon you're going to get like America's like 75% pharma in most of it. Although it's news, I suppose it depends what network it is and all that jazz. Well, you know, see what's going on just now. Ripley. I don't think that's well, I know it's not an American network. Is that all just the video whores that produce a lot of the fucking American shit? Did I do CBS, Paddy? I can't remember if I did. If I didn't, I'll go and do CBS. Can you try CBS? I think I might have done them when they were talking about. Oh yeah, there we go. If anybody hasn't watched it, right, I think it's on the Netflix. It's called, racking my brains here, Guardians of Justice. It's fucking hilarious, man. Not only is it fucking comical genius, it's on point. Plus, visually looking, you would have seen nothing like it. It's a mixture between Roger Rabbit, because it's got cartoon overlay, and it's got cartoon snippets and cartoon overlay. It's mental. It's like fucking. You would have seen nothing like it. I've seen nothing like it anyway. And the comedy's on point, and the topics they touch on are on point as well. You know. I shouldn't trigger people too much. I shouldn't trigger people at all. It's just pure comedy. You know, it's like it's done along the lines of superheroes, but it's an absolute piss take. It's a bit like as well. It's a bit like Deadpool on fucking crack cocaine mixed in with a bit of steroids. Right, let me just look down the list and see what's going on here. The fuck, Morgan and Morgan.
All experienced loss from COVID, loss of routine.
You know, that's why I decided to do that. I couldn't. I was like really interested in what's going on, right? Like, 'cause I remember my Iraq War days, but back in that day, man, I used to think fucking Tony Blair told the truth. Shows you where my head was at. And I remember like staying up night for the News 24, and you could watch it all night with all the news footage, and it was fascinating to watch. See, now it's just repetitive. It's night time, man. My heart fucking strings are a bit fucking sore already. Can you put the dead women and children away? And then they'll rock up and tell you 12 million troops died today, and this one woman was shot. And drag her body all pixelated and stuff in front of you. Like, well, if you're pixelating it, don't show the fucking pictures in the first place, you fucking retard, unless there's something else going on here. Anyway. Paddy, Paddy, I don't know if you caught me the other night, right? I need to do this experiment at one point. In fact, let me do it just now, right? Because let's see if I can do it now. Very simply done, right? And the thesis of the experiment is to compare old newsreels. Do you know when news was like, today on Leicester Street, a man got stabbed 4 times with a guy called Jeremy. Now today it's like, today on a street that could have been, some reports say, could have been Timbuktu Street, a guy that looked like something between the ages of 1 and 99 and could identified as a man or a post box. Some reports say he identified as a lamppost, and he could have stabbed or possibly accidentally penetrated with a very skinny penis another human being identifying as something with a pulse 4 or 5 million or 1 time. Do you get what I'm talking about? Like today's fucking news language compared to back in the day when journalists were actually genuinely journalists, and all the manipulation came in the editorial suite. You know, when they said, show this, don't show that, go there, talk about this story, go there, talk about this one, don't do that. But at heart, the journalists were going there and going, okay, the guy's name was, you know, like Ken Clark kind of figures, you know, fucking wearing the Superman fucking shit. Let's do this old news. Real. I knew how to spell that, honest. And I don't want to watch any of the stuff that was obviously like war stuff, right? Old day to day. D-Day fucking shit, man. Going to be very fucking like impartial. Nazi fucking bastard is confirmed as Nazi fucking bastard. Now join me at the smoking lounge. Oh no, that's a D-Day. Fuck me. Well, day to day doesn't seem to be working. Old time newsreel. Why the fuck? Oh, well, I understand why it's bring. Hold on, is this? I think this is normal stuff. Here we go. I had no idea this was ladies' lifeguards. These people were probably here. Maybe a source close to me says that there was reports that said it could be up to, maybe up to some women and whatever that is.
On New York's Manhattan Beach, which oddly enough is in Brooklyn, may be found many outdoor activities each summer besides bathing. But its most interesting experiment to date, and one it may proudly boast about, is an auxiliary life-saving corps made up entirely of young women, whose duty it is to assist the regular guard patrol in their watchful work of protecting the lives of the public.
They don't make news like that anymore. But you see my point? Like, see, today, they would have to have people fucking... Right now, they would have to have Ukrainians dying, or these young ladies putting up Ukrainian refugees or something, you know what I mean? But I'll need to spend a wee bit more time and effort in there and like get just a day-to-day, like a day-to-day robbery newsreel. Old time. Aye, I'll do it. I'll do it another time. I won't waste. Start drilling fucking trying to spell. Philosopher, I know, mate. I can't turn on Talk Sport without getting fucking bombarded with fucking Ukrainian pish. Any team that's got a fucking Ukrainian player, the player's fucking been made captain and getting paraded around in a podium before the fucking game, and I'm not even making that fucking up. It's ridiculous. Back in the day, you used to be able to like fucking like, oh man. 2 generations ago, easy. The common thread was don't speak about religion or politics, and that's when you were doing the boozer and whatnot. The reason being is because it would 9 times out of 10 end up in a fucking punch up, right? Sensible fucking people, those old fucks, right? Maybe we should start incorporating that back into our lives instead of bouncing around virtue signaling, wanting to beat every cunt up with our own fucking browbeating club. They fight. They fight. They fight. 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 The world of politics. Politics. Actually. I know they don't make swimsuits like that anymore, Cheats, don't you know? They don't make swimsuits like that anymore. In fact, let's focus on that. That's a cracking wee website.
And little did we know, she, Suzanne Dasher, a church employee and parishioner, already stepped up, undergoing testing, later learning in September she was a match. The pair underwent surgery 2 weeks ago at Cooperman Barnabas Medical.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know, shouldn't you get news like that back in the day when it was just individuals talking about how great they were? I donated my left toenail. Little Bob down the street. Nobody told me to do it, I just volunteered my toenail, so I did, Jimmy. More power to them, man. Save as many lives as you can. But I'm definitely going to do that wee experiment. Right, let's see, is there any? Seems to be a fair amount of the old... NBC, did we do? Or we did, I tried that, didn't I? And it didn't work. It's all come flood back to me. Oh, the WWE network. Oh, better not fall down that rabbit hole again. TNT. Films. PBS. Oh, that'd be funny. Oh fuck. Stop it back 11. Oh yes, some more worst. Oh, it's Putin! It's got a big massive screen.
And won't travel far himself these days, but he did find time today to attend remotely a ceremony inaugurating a new passenger ferry, and claimed that Russia had no ill intention.
That's why they have to forget about COVID. Because they're trying to paint Putler as some madman because he was using a big long desk and he's no travelling much and meeting many people. That's why they're putting the end to COVID. They need to get close to Putler to put some fucking uranium fucking 69, 66, 666 in his vodka. Cracked the fucking code. See? Cracked it. Oh, why did we get BBC here? Oh, because PBS has
In the
BBC.
information war, though in Russia now you're not allowed to use the word war. On a growing list of casualties, Facebook, used by millions of Russians, now blocked.
Все эти IT-компании, начиная там от Инстаграма, заканчивая.
All these companies, from Instagram to others, are located in the United States. It's clear they are used as a weapon. They carry enmity, lies. We must resist this, protect the armed forces.
В этих условиях
They rubber-stamped a law to impose
full-fledged info war in it. They're shutting down each other's fucking mouthpieces. So it's a tit for tat. So I think now it's becoming very apparent to everybody, to a lot of people, if not everybody, how powerful social medias can be. Why Joe Rogan knocked back the TikToks? Because of their Chinas. Right? Why TikTok is powerful? If you control that flow. I mean, I witnessed it myself, man. When this shit first started kicking off, my protocol for a lot of stuff, and for RT, because I knew you could get it there, was the boob tubes. I went there and it was like, boom, not there. Boom, not there. I hate using VPNs. It slows everything down. It's a pain in the fucking arse. So, this bull crap has drove me to VPNs and Telegram. That's what's happened. When the West want you to, it's as in all wars and in all forums, there's unintended consequences. For all sides, by the way. It's not like I'm threatening you, Bobo, but Biden. I'm just saying that, like, as this moves on, and however it fucking mutates, there's going to be weird fallout. Are they going to drive every cunt towards Telegram? I was listening to a podcast tonight, and they were talking about all this Swift stuff. You know, shutting down in the money system. Not Taylor Swift. It's driving everybody to other mechanisms of payment. And I would also like to point to the fact that a lot of places have... Hey, like there's his X Factor fucking audition tape. You know, he looks like an ex-Rangers player shot at Valazzi. But anyway, as I was saying, it's driving a lot of people to a lot of other places to do their business away from Swift. Again, either intentional consequences or unintentional consequences. Look, there he's there! That's it, that's him playing a Ukrainian president. Was he an X Factor? I'm tripping. Sorry, I missed that week's Now magazine. Taylor Graham equal Telegram. Thanks YouTube. Automatically translate. Imagine. Mate, I swear to God, I need to do my homework. Right, I've just listened to the slanging match. Actor. Am I right in saying he was anywhere near like Ukrainian X Factor, or am I tripping? Am I getting him mixed up with somebody else? But apparently when he was an actor, in one of his roles, he played Ukrainian president. But hey, Well, over here in the UK, we can like fucking point and laugh, but Americans can't because they had Reagan. They were ahead of the game. Right, let's listen to a bit of the fucking bib.
We have to do all the steps to finish this horrible war.
But do you think this is a new chapter in relations between Russia and Ukraine?
No, it's right.
I think this is the first
saying he
chapter.
was an X
But the
Factor
next
man. I
chapter
don't
of
know
the
where the fuck I
Zelensky
pulled that
presidency
from.
was a painful
Right out my
one,
ass.
a cameo role in a blackmail saga which led to the impeachment of Donald Trump.
We had, I think, good phone call.
Zelensky's acting skills for once deserting him. In the last couple of years, Zelensky's presidency has rather drifted. Visits to the trenches have highlighted the lack of peace, while promised reforms have stalled. Then came invasion, and Zelensky and Ukraine have not rolled over.
I never remember any situation or event when I was working for him that he would give up his principles and values. And this is probably that Russian President Vladimir Putin underestimated. Nowadays, he shows himself as a serious leader that, of course, can make some kind of irony and that his communication skills are very appropriate. But at the same time,
Shut up, fucking Dr. Blazing,
we
you
understand that he is serious about defending the
The
values
new
of our
strains
country.
breeding.
Zelensky's journey to this point has
Breathing in
few
your hair, you
parallels. With the Russians now closing in, does
that
his
is a ray gun,
remarkable
man. That well
story
looks cool,
have
Roberto.
one
I missed that.
final twist?
Thank you.
Jonah
I was
Fisher, BBC
multitasking.
News.
And before we go tonight, a reminder of the latest on the war in Ukraine. Russian forces are moving towards Kyiv, but their gains have been...
Kyiv! Can I have a chicken? Kyiv! Fucking what the fuck is it with these retards?
Ukraine's major cities. And forces shelled and then captured the largest nuclear plant in Ukraine. American diplomats say the world just narrowly avoided a nuclear catastrophe.
You gotta wag that dog all day long. I gotta get a better song for that thing. I gotta wag that dog all day long. But what a fucking load, what a fucking pile of shite, man. What a pile of fucking absolute shite. They can't even tell you the fucking truth. It's redunculous, man. You know, maybe some of those D-Day reports would actually be, maybe they'll be even... Now, even though he's a Nazi bastard, we do need to tell you the truth about what actually happened during the fight. Maybe they'll... news reporters during D-Day will be able to, like, you'll be able to show them in comparison to that pish. Right, now I'm very confused. In fact, I'm not too confused. I once heard before that PBS has... What? Oh.
Sincerest thanks to the late
Let's
Harry
get shit
Acton
fucking...
Stribel, who
Shit
provided
fucking...
a special
Shit
bequest to
editors.
South Florida PBS through his estate planning. Gifts like his fuel
Stop in
our
the rope band and don't do
lifelong
go.
learning mission and ensure our sustainability.
Oh yeah, we're going to remain sustainable because of it, that guy.
Join me for 20 years of my music on your PBS station. 16
Oh, 14 more. Over here we would call that sherry. Oh, sherry. Basically any old person singing when they're drunk. Sounds all the same. Anyway, I digress. And who's this flat-faced motherfucker? He's singing to
All
me.
the side effects are good ones.
Only the side effects are good ones. You sprout 2 extra arms. Now you can masturbate twice as much. Oh man. Oh god, man. I'm no wonder America's a dumbed down nation. Look at their TV. It's like, no wonder RT America's fucking raps the news to the children.
From her charitable trust.
Paddy, I don't know where I heard this, right? But somebody somewhere pointed to me. Oh, I can't remember, but they were talking about how the recent fake positives for AIDS has been because they've been using an AIDS protein in the fucking vaccine or some shit. I was like, now, I don't know if it's true or just cunts fucking blowing smoke. Oh, hold on.
Powering the next generation of women leaders. That's Sunday at noon, right here on South Florida PBS.
Get ready.
South Florida PBS. Is that? Get some HRT, that will take care of that.
Our best edition yet, Miami Film Festival, March 4th to 13th. Tickets and passes on sale at miamifilmfestival.com.
Angelo and Banta, located on Los.
Right, this is. Where's the fucking. Oh, hold on, that's the top of the hour. So, where will we go to for the Doom? Let's go to Fox for their top of the hour Doom. How do I work this? Hey, nice hat, mate.
In a real way, and we're going to continue to do that.
New York City with a major push forward in the fight
And
against
we'll continue to do that.
public schools. Vaccine requirements.
A place to stay, catch a boogie on the fun night, make my day.
New York State's lead in lifting the key mandates as he cites declining COVID positivity rates.
Oh man, hold on, I'm going to smoke my sanity pills.
Students in city public schools will no longer be required to wear masks inside classrooms unless
Normality.
they choose to do so. And the Key to NYC program requiring businesses to check vaccine status for customers will also end. Lisette Nunez is live in Times Square for us tonight with more on today's long-awaited announcement. Lisette.
Right, hold on, that's Fox 5.
Making that announcement here in Times Square. He says the pandemic is not over and we're not out of the woods just yet, but he is following the science, he says, and he believes New York City is ready for this next step. A return to normalcy on the horizon for New York City. The city easing more COVID restrictions and removing the indoor vaccine requirement. Starting Monday, people no longer have to show proof of vaccination. This applies to restaurants, bars, gyms, and entertainment venues.
Now, restaurants, they still can use their discretion if they desire. It's up to them. But the overall restriction is being removed.
Who's that cunt?
The
He's
owner
the
of
mayor or
Lowe's
something in here or
restaurant
something?
in Queens says this is welcome news.
Customers knew because it was buzzing around and they expected to have to show proof of vaccination and so on and so forth. More recently, as of today, customers are asking me if this is even still a legitimate thing. Most people are already shaking it off and wanting this to be put behind them.
The city's also lifting the indoor mask mandate for public schools on Monday. Children under the age of 5 would still have to wear masks because they are not eligible for the vaccine under city rules. City health leaders say other school safety measures such as social distancing will remain. The United Federation of Teachers say they support the mayor's decision. The announcement met with mixed reaction from parents.
I'm ready for the mask mandate to be lifted. It's enough for them, you know? This is a new normal for them, and they need to get back to what really was normal. My kids are not vaccinated, and I can guarantee you some of the kids in the facility, in the building itself, it's not vaccinated either, so I don't think it's safe for kids to be having no mask on.
Today, Mayor Adams addressing concerns that the city is lifting restrictions too soon.
There's no decision you can make in New York that you're going to get 100% of New Yorkers. 8.8 million people, 30 million opinions. We are going to open.
The city has also established a new color-coded
That's
system
that's
that
a
will alert
flat
New
cap.
Yorkers about their COVID risk. Right
Cheap
now, the
shit.
city's
I've got
considered to
one.
be at a
I've got
low-risk
one
level, with
almost
its COVID
identical to
positivity
that,
rate standing at 1.8%.
which I wear quite a lot. Love my cap.
And as of right now, 77% of all New York City residents are fully vaccinated. Mayor Eric Adams says he will continue to watch COVID-19
I'm so glad I stuck to my guns because I was so depressed at one point when up here we were told that you couldn't get in places without a passport. I was so pissed off and depressed about that I stopped listening to the news for a while. At which point the Scottish Government done a U-turn and said, oh, hold on, we'll retract that. You can just prove a negative test, which I would have been happy to do. So there was like a pure period, about a month and a half, where I thought you had to have a passport when you didn't. Cause of that little Hitler bitch. Fucking, honestly, these fucking politicians who think they sit above you and fucking have the right to fucking play God with don't know people's individual circumstance and fucking like that. Big, broad brushstrokes. It's for the greater good. Look, Mel Gibson and Braveheart told us SNP, even though we're not nationalist, but we're not nationalist. Fucking retards. Anyway, let's get back to... Why is this Fox 5 and no Fox Fox?
Some good news. During his final pandemic press conference, Murphy announced that he's ending the statewide public health emergency on Monday. The same day the state's school mask mandate ends. He is hoping that this will lead to a more normal way of life for everyone. Murphy did choke up while talking about all those who lost their lives during the pandemic.
Quick, lock it down again.
One. Hard to believe. Of the more than 30,000 lives we've lost.
Well, we are still seeing the effects of the pandemic, and medical experts say that they have seen.
Truth freeze, you know, funny you say that. I can't remember where I heard it. It was on the mainstream media in the sense either RT or the BBC or whatnot, and they were talking about how America has built 2 biofacilities inside Ukraine within the last 10 years or something. Oh, mate, 5G's forgot about as much as the Nibiru 2.9 or whatever is, or fake snow. All the other barrage of shite that just does the Y2Ks like fucking the granddaddy in it. The OG of bullshit, baby. That people keep getting slapped in the face like, I'll come back for more. Poof, come back for more. Alex Jones lining them up. Seen that guy having a meltdown the other day telling people fucking China's going to fucking nuke them. Fat fucking fear-mongering fuck. Oh, look, it's... Ow!
Been extinguished, and the International Atomic Energy Agency is reporting there are no signs of radioactive leaks. But Russia now controls the largest nuclear power plant in Europe.
Oh my God!
Newer and newer evidence that it is not only Ukraine under Russian attack. It is Europe. It is the entire world.
Thank fuck you defined Ukraine from Europe. People are saying Ukraine is Europe.
House with the president of Finland as countries close to Ukraine grow increasingly more concerned about their own security.
We agree it's not only an attack on Ukraine, it's an attack on the security of Europe and on the global peace and stability.
We are really living.
Open your eyes, old Mr. Magoo.
I want to thank you also for the leadership.
Seriously, that guy does not fill me with confidence at all.
Russia's assault
if he can open his eyes.
On homes near Kyiv. Vladimir Putin telling French President Emmanuel Macron that he plans to continue his attacks, quote, until the end. But many Ukrainians are not giving up. Many are taking up arms and training.
Is it biological plants that the US has built in Ukraine, Cheech? I've not checked into it or anything, mate. I just heard it in passing.
Trying to flee the capital as Russian troops are closing in. And also today, the UN Human Rights Council voting overwhelmingly to set up an
It's so
independent
funny,
panel of
man.
experts to monitor
You turn on
Russian human
RTE,
rights violations.
they'll talk about the refugees and show you the Ludansk or whatever that is, the East Ukraine borders, and all the refugees there.
In Brooklyn more than 3 years ago.
Potato, tomato,
Killed in
tomato.
December of 2018 during a road rage incident. A judge today gave Joseph Desmond the maximum sentence for murdering Cotto. Prosecutors said the two got into a minor accident near the Verrazano Bridge on the Belt Parkway when Desmond hit Cotto with a heavy object and took off. Stephen Zajanc, the man
Well, philosopher, I know that the Azov battalions are real and stuff. I don't know how big they are, and like
NYPD says the 28-year-old targeted the women
how
during a
dangerous they
2-hour
are.
period on Sunday
But they
in
definitely
Manhattan.
exist.
Faces several charges, including assault as a
They
hate
don't
crime
hide
and
it.
aggravated harassment. Long Island teacher now charged with raping a 15-year-old student 9 years ago. Timothy Harrison.
Woohoo! Right, done a good wee couple of rounds there of the old American TV. Let's go and have a wee look at the Ruski TV if we can. And this cracks me up as well, the way that the Western press will be sitting talking about how bad Russia is for shutting down all their shit over there. And in the same hand, they're shutting down all Russia's shit over here. You're like, can you hear yourself? Can you hear the hypocrisy? The double standards? The bullcrap? Oh, but they're state funded, ours isn't. Fucking crime. Oh. Anyway, let's see if I can get this shit working. This video is unavailable. That's not good. Tending to be. I saw Singapore. Let's see. Do. I mean, the fucking powers that shouldn't be.
How long can you fool the voters of Europe? And they realize, wait a minute, we don't.
Crash talk rule. Don't know if that's that. Right, what we're looking at here, 12 minutes. See, there's something weird about this time sync. What I'm talking about is Russia Today, like most rolling 24-hour news things I know. Top of the hour news, half an hour news, and then the other half hour they do their wee feature programme. Hit piece. And that's RT's feature programme hit piece. And it shouldn't be that. See if I can decipher it. How cinematic that old babushka was. Babalenka. Potato, potato, tomato, tomato. Let's call the whole thing off. Maybe this is shit. You can hear the boom, boom, boom. Nothing says authentic news than dramatic music in the background. I don't know about you, that's what I need with my news.
напротив подъезда он упала мина, и осколком меня задело.
Woo, yeah, baby. That woman screeching or a siren? I'm not joking. Oh, it's a woman screeching, fuck's sake. You know, it's a bit late at night to subject myself to that shit. Samara, Samara. I'm not going to subject myself to some effing destruction before I go to my bed. Which I'm going to be doing very, 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 very shortly. So, through makes fun of America. Watch that.
Around
All
the
through
world
the night.
condemned the Russian military for recklessness.
Yes, there's the nuclear
But Russia's
shit.
envoy at the UN Security Council insisted it was untrue that his country's forces had shelled the plant, insisting that Ukrainian saboteurs were to blame.
I don't think that's exactly what gets said, but let's not go into semantics this late in the day. But anyway, that was my best kind of efforts at showing you what's coming out of different outlets, and as you can see, the Western outlets is sort of the same drivel. Sometimes not even with fucking different packages, it's the same packages doing the fucking rounds. Sometimes it's different talking heads, different accents. But there wasn't much to there wasn't much difference between them. And then you flip over to the Russian, and I'd imagine, you know, I'm making a mental note of myself to. I used to watch a lot of the Chinese shit, CCTV and all that, which I think is rebranded now, and Press TV. I poke my nose in there just to see what flavour their fart is. No, I will restrain myself from making those kind of jokes late in the day. So, thanks for tuning in, folks. Tune in on Tuesday for not the Infowars news. As if the world's still here. You know, it's things are fluid, forever changing, and I should be Monday to Friday, 12 o'clock. Look at the BBC and RT. Just as this rolling wag the dog episode goes on, because I know that I'm waking up and I'm poking my nose into both piles of shite, and some might say it might be funny and entertaining and a wee bit more palatable to go through it with other people, and might help me get the shit off my nose quicker. If you enjoyed this, thumbs it up, folks. Share it with your enemies. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Bleach? Fucking don't even know where that came from. A mixture of Blazing and Cheech. Alex, Blazing, Cheech. Rebel, Paddy to freeze in the Eve. Cheech. Joining guys. And JavaScript. And everybody else did fell off the radar. There's Davo. So I feel free to tune in next time, folks. I mean, it's worthwhile having shits and giggles about this stuff away from other people that are just falling down the fear-mongering doom merchant. I think Blazing mentioned, who cares how you doing? I think Blazing earlier mentioned, does anybody talk? Oh, we elaborated on that 5G stuff. I mean, it's just evaporated. You know, everybody that was an expert about it telling you how it was fucking the Internet of Things. My bad! Even though they're... I don't know. But when will folk learn? You just hope that... God knows how much bullshit I fell for fucking over the time, man. I mean, I deliberately keep my chemtrail videos up on my channel for a fucking reason. Use them as a... I don't know the word I'm searching for. An example of how easy it is for me to fall for fucking some fucking elaborate bullshit. That's a good trick. It's a really good magic trick, chemtrails, because you can point to them. And the explanation offered up is very plausible if you're in the headspace of thinking there's a government or worldwide conspiracy to enslave us all. Maybe there is. Maybe I'm part of it and I'm just sent here to squiff you off. And all this poverty I'm living in is just for show. I love it. Loving it, loving it, loving it. But who knows? And the shit show continues with the bull crap on... well, you know what? I'm going to have to touch base with Alex Jones at some point. See how long I last. Because that last clip I seen of him, man, he was having a meltdown, literally telling you, it's over. It's over, you might as well go home. China's going to send in the bombs. I wasn't really aware of the timestamps and all that, but it was after all this like Ukrainian shit kicked off at some point. It's within the last week or so anyway. So I'm going to have to touch base with him, man, see what's happening. It's a new world order conspiracy. Yeah. Well, I think it's a bit more complicated than that, Truth Freeze, to be honest. I know what you mean. But I think that's a simplification of what might be really going on in the world. What was the analogy I used before? There's lots of them, there's hundreds of them. I use the mafia, for example, right? They're eating themselves. Right? There's a dawn, but there's always power plays. And that's what I kinda say. Is everybody thinks it's just one big eyes wide shut party. I would say it's more complicated than that. There's always a pissing competition. There's always people position themselves in positions of power. And when you get to the stage where it's not about money, it's about power, isn't it? I would argue. But God only knows what the fuck's really going on, man. I gave up trying to fucking solve the unsolvable puzzle. who people can make money off of, keep me going round and round and round, perpetually trying to solve. Right, I'm trying to decide, man, should I have toast and jam, toast and egg? I could make a couple of eggs. Or pasta and sauce. That will fill a bigger hole. But I'm trying to fill less of a hole nowadays. And that's nothing sexual. The fear nuclear war will raise and stop the pulse. Well, the times they are a-changing. I wish Bob Dylan was about and could sing properly still. Cheatsha, I agree with you, right? I don't know if I'm able to explain this right. It's in my mind, it's clear, and I always go off on tangents and don't finish it right. But I think everything's a fractal. I think the more you look at it, everything's a fractal, if that makes sense. Everything's like a small microcosm upon itself, and it's like as you get older, the more conservative people typically get. The more you typically go, it wasn't like that in my day. Even before that, when you're younger, 9 times out of 10, you're a smart ass rebel that thinks you know better than the older people. But when you reach that older people, you think the young people are all young smart arses. It's a role reversal. It's just a case of getting older. And when you get older, you're always like, it's not back in my day, look at this crazy technology. Oh. To different degrees, different strokes to different folks to different degrees. Some people are to the extreme polar. I mean, I've witnessed people who see Jesus in toast. Oh, he's talking about me, he's wearing that because of me. I'm like, what the fuck, man? This is mental. And believe it. And who knows, maybe I'm wrong, but on the other extreme, like people that, like, an example, right? It's like if you're in the headspace of conspiracy and Windows brings out a new operating system. Oh, it's spying on us more, you know, it's a fucking big fucking, I want to keep it back the way it was in my Flintstone days, and I'm kind of the same. I want everything to stay the same because I know how to fucking use it, and I'm quite fucking happy with where fucking things are. But as always, things move on, and fucking the older you get, the more pissed off you get with things moving on, and that can be used to get you to support UKIP, for example. Because I remember that was one of the red flags for me when I was bouncing about in all the conspiracy communities and stuff. I was like, hold on a sec, why is there so many UKIP supporters in here? And then if it transpired, look at what happened with UKIP. Who went into it? Fucking Count Spunkula, fucking Sargon of Mossad, Neil Hamilton, Cash for Questions Conservative. Fuck me, man. Nigel the Vag. I mean, it blows my mind to think that I was nearly indoctrinated and my boys tickled to go and fucking join that little fucking bandwagon, to be quite honest. Which I was very, 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 very close to doing, probably. Or at some point going along that lines, you know, like, oh my god, why all of a sudden do I know the specifications of an AR-15? I have no idea. Quick, InfoWars is on! Turn it on! Come on, things start becoming very apparent, man. Very apparent at some... Things started coming very apparent to me at some point. I was getting fucking led a merry dance by a lot of fucking unscrupulous people in the so-called truth movement who were quite happy to fucking tell you to investigate everybody and sundry. But if you applied a sceptical mind towards them, oh, they're just shells, they're this, they're that, they're that. No, I'm just pointing out, Alex, that you've clearly got a political agenda, or you always point to this, you don't point to that, you never go with... Oh, anyway, I digress. Right, I'm going to do the off, that's 11:30, I've done well more than enough. You know where to find me next time on Tuesday night, 8 or 9 o'clock. Let's say 9. And next week, 12 bells, I'll do the news comparison thing. Don't know what I'll call it yet. Maybe news comparison thing. But thanks to everybody in the chat. Pulling that up there. So there we shout. Oots. Oot. Catch you next time, y'all. Hold on. Catchies. Kips, clips. And remember, citizens, the only way to survive and thrive is to subscribe and hit the bell with $19.95 plus shipping and handling. We'll keep you out of hell. Catchies.